As parents, we would like to know that our children are thriving in schools, that after spending a huge chunk of their lives in school, they are coming out of school smarter, healthier, and better adjusted to face life. But this is often not the case, and when our child declares loudly that they hate school, or when they pretend to be sick before going to school, they are crying out for help and should not be ignored. There are two different areas of concern that we must be aware of: the mental and emotional well-being of your child, as well as their educational well-being. In this part 1 of this video, we will look at the 5 most common reasons why students hate school and what can be done to limit or remove any mental or emotional damage. In part 2, we will look at academic changes that can help your child through difficult times. Hello everyone, welcome to Ruth's Straight Talk, the channel designed to help you and your students and your children live fuller lives, become lifelong learners, and grow into the awesome human beings that you were designed to be. I'm Cynthia Ruth. If your child tells you that they hate school, this is the video for you. In this video, we will address the most common problems that students encounter in school, and from a parent-teacher perspective, we will give you tips to help you decide if a special type of school is right for your child. Also, don't miss my bonus strategy at the end of this video. So let's get right to it. The most difficult and damaging problem that your child will encounter in school is bullying. The American Society for Positive Care of Children have found that 28% of all children between the ages of 12 and 18 have encountered some form of bullying. Bullying does great harm to a child's sense of safety and security. If a victim is physically bullied, he may fear for his immediate safety. Plus, alerting a teacher or an adult can be scary, especially if the bully threatens to be even more cruel if an adult is involved. Young students can easily be intimidated by the class bully, and the bully can turn the school into a place associated with being beaten, having their money stolen, or their food stolen. So what is bullying? Bullying is unwanted aggressive behavior among school-aged children that involves a real or perceived power imbalance. The behavior is repeated or has the potential to be repeated over time. Bullying includes actions such as making threats, spreading rumors, attacking someone physically or verbally, and excluding someone from a group on purpose. So what can you as a parent do to protect your child from bullying? Parents play a key role in preventing and responding to bullying. Recognizing the warning signs that your child is involved in bullying. They can be being bullied, they can be bullying others, or they could have witnessed bullying. Although these signs can signal other issues, you should talk to your child if they display some sort of behavioral or emotional changes. Many times kids won't ask for help, so it is important to know what to look for. If your child is at immediate risk of harming himself or others, you as a parent must get help right away. Included in bullying is cyberbullying, which often requires a different strategy than in-person bullying, but it is bullying and should be addressed as such. Here are some things you can do about bullying in school. Talk to your child about bullying. Opening lines of communication before your child is involved in bullying makes it so much easier for them to tell you when something happens. Also, you can it's important for you to work with the school to help prevent bullying before it starts. Understanding what has happened can also help in communicating with the school or the community official about the situation. 3. If bullying occurs at school, learn about what your state requires schools to do about state anti-bullying laws. Also, learn about federal laws that require schools to address harassment based on race, color, national origin, sex, and disabilities, and ways to report that situation that have not been adequately addressed to the U.S. Department of Education and Justice. The second problem that students complain about in school is fatigue. When asked how they felt in school, 39% of all students simply answered they were very tired. Indeed, following classes all day is hard enough without having to wake up at 6 in the morning to catch a bus at 6:30 in the morning. A healthy amount of sleep for a teenager in high school is 9.5 hours, but the average teenager gets only about 7.5 hours of sleep. Not getting enough sleep can make a teen irritable, tired, and depressed, which leads to a downfall in their grades. A school day starts early, often with a lot of rushing about. Younger children can find it exhausting. In fact, they can be so tired after school that the behavior can become irritable and emotional. So what can you do as a parent? Well, here are a few positive strategies. Sleeping well is really important to feeling wide awake at school. According to the NHS, children between the ages of 5 to 8 years old should get between 10 and 11 hours of sleep each night. So parents, set bedtime and waking time and wind down time, bedtime routines will help your child develop a better sleeping pattern. No screen time at least an hour before bedtime. A warm bath, some calm, quiet time of story reading can help prepare a child for a good night's sleep. A relaxed, structured morning will give them a great start to the day too, and enable you to get a better breakfast inside of them. Incidentally, giving kids slow-burning carbohydrates like oatmeal, bran cereal, and whole wheat bagels for breakfast instead of fast-burning sugary cereals works well to help them concentrate and be at fully attendance throughout the morning. The third problem that students can encounter at school is anxiety. Students can be exposed to a great deal of worrisome situations in school, such as deadlines, social relationships, fear of failure, and so on. Stress makes it very difficult to work, to deal with school, and to still have healthy social relationships, which we often forget is critical to a child's development. A student with anxiety will often feel very distressed by the idea of presenting his work in front of the whole class. And let's be honest, speaking in front of a crowd is not always easy. So what can you as a parent do to help? First of all, teach your students and your child about anxiety. Explain how that we are wired to deal with threats in one of the three ways: flight, fight, or freeze. Then you can teach your student to identify the worry signs so that when they can help feeling tense, heart racing, sweating, stomach aches, or headaches, they can recognize these as common signs of being stressed or feeling anxious. Also, you can explain how being a little worried is good and useful, like the worry they feel before they sit for a test that motivates them to stop watching TV and start studying. Another thing you can do is build trust so that your child or your student feel comfortable seeking your help. Teach problem-solving abilities to your classroom and to your children. Practice deep breathing exercises in your classroom and with your child. Also, take the class out for a walk and lead the class in an exercise. If you have the opportunity, ask them to observe their environment and think about something tangible, such as how many different birds they hear or how many different colors they notice on a walk in the hallway. Every one of these strategies will help to alleviate the problem of anxiety among your children or your students. The fourth problem that students can encounter is depression. Being a child is hard enough without having to face difficult times at school. It can leave a student feeling sadder and sadder for weeks or even months. They detach themselves more from school, from their teachers, everything, impairing their mental health and, of course, their grades. The exhaustion often felt by kids at school only makes matters worse. In extreme cases, this depression can lead to self-harm or even suicide. Financial problems can also be a cause for some cases of depression. Depression is a recognized mental order and is more common than we think. There's not a limit to students either. If you as a parent feel depressed, talk to a specialist. Don't stay alone. So here are some ways to deal with depression. The best way to cope with this depression or anxiety is to talk with someone else and, if needs be, get specialized help. Persistent or severe anxiety or depression often requires professional help. Still, there are things that you can do on your own to cope better with school when dealing with these disorders. Certainly you can take a semester off of sports, cut back on the amount of activity that you do. Definitely you don't need a full load of AP courses before you get to college. Talk with a trusted friend, a parent, an adult at school to see what you can drop from your busy schedule. Also, identify social supports and distractions that take a hard look at the people in your life. Who's always there for you? Who makes you feel good? Who makes you feel worse? Try to spend more time with those who love you and let go of the ones who don't. Avoid avoidance. Although you might need to cut back on some responsibilities to ease your stress, don't let fatigue or fear make you avoid essentials. Isolating yourself too much can worsen the problem of depression, sadness, or worry. Also, take some time to blow off steam. As much as you might not feel like it, do some things that you enjoy, especially if they are involved with physical activities or time outdoors. As you prepare yourself down to the essentials, replace some stressful activities with things that make you feel good. When should you get professional help? Well, feeling down or worried happens to most people of all ages. But when these feelings get in the way of your everyday life, you might need extra help. If your grades drop significantly, you can't face beneficial social activities, you're using alcohol or drugs to cope, or you're having any thoughts of harming yourself or harming others. If any of these ring true, please consider seeking out therapy and treatment. The fifth problem that students can encounter in school is social integration. An important factor for any worker in any working space, not only students, is the feeling of belonging. Feeling out of place somewhere is very bad for a person's well-being, and students need to feel like they are part of the school to be happy and safe. School is not just a place to learn or educational subjects. It's also a place where students learn to coexist, to make friends, and to cooperate with others. Here are 5 strategies that you can use that will help social integration. First of all, encourage positive relationships with teachers and school staff. Next, students should be encouraged to have at least one supported adult within their school environment. Someone who they know, like, and have a safe, mutual relationship with. Not just academic support, but emotional support as well. The relationships students have at school are important. Students build relationships with all school staff and sometimes have more regular interaction with staff than they do with teachers in the classroom. Also, create a positive peer culture of belonging. Peer group matters. A sense of belonging towards school, or even not belonging towards school, can be contagious. Schools that have students with high sense of belonging create a school culture where a sense of school belonging is normal. They offer school sanctions activities and even promote the school values. These usually are well attended. Schools need supportive leaders that can clearly communicate the value in school belonging. They should have policies that promote inclusive school environments as well as a place to belong. Teaching students social and emotional skills can also contribute to a culture of belonging. Students with a high sense of value and school belonging value learning, are highly motivated academically, and can see the importance of the value of what they learn. Here, relationships are key. If school staff genuinely know the students as individuals, they are more equipped to detect minor nuances that could indicate problems that may be occurring, such as an absence in class or a change in behavior. Parents also have an important role in school communities. However, their perception of school culture and education is reflected in their child's educational experience. Having a big influence on your child's attitude and belief in schools help your child to also interact and believe in their school.
The bonus strategy for this video is a game called Freeze, Know, and Tag. It is great for any group. Each student is given a math problem or a spelling word for the next spelling test or the vocabulary list, whatever is being taught in your classroom at that time. Freeze tag is just like regular tag, except that when a student is tagged, they must freeze with their feet planted widely apart. Then they can be unfrozen only when another student answers their question correctly and then crawls through their legs. Teachers can support group cooperation by encouraging students to unfreeze as many of their own group as possible, and even award points to students who do the unfreezing.
So there you have it, the 5 top problems that students deal with at school. Keep in mind also, parents, that you have the option to change into any educational program that best suits your child. You can choose a traditional public school, homeschooling, online schooling, or even private schools. If this video has value for you, please like us at the bottom of the screen, and if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to get notifications when I post new videos. I would also love to hear from you about any part of your child's education, or you as a homeschooling parent or even a regular school parent. Share your insight with me. I would love to hear from you. Leave me a comment below. Well, once again, thank you so much for visiting us at rootstraight.com. I look forward to hearing from you. So until another time, happy learning and goodbye.